What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, that's Scott Savage, and you can join us at InsideTheGame.ca, our YouTube channel at Inside the Game Official, those TV streaming networks around the globe like Roku, Amazon Prime, Samsung Plus, Jinx Esports TV, ESTV, and a whole lot more. And don't forget our friends over at Fired Up Network, all 212 of their platforms like Spotify, SoundCloud, and all those. You can just listen to us in your eardrums if that's what you want to do. Scott, before we get to what's on today's show, happy Starfield Day, everybody. Actually, it was interesting because it dropped yesterday out of a surprise. Oh, by the way, out into space you go. And they just, dude, what was Xbox doing? They just dropped it.
Yeah, this is the biggest release in memorable time. They somehow flubbed that one. We're all in New Zealand now.
I think that's what it was. Yo, New Zealand's going to get it right now, and so is the rest of the world. So there you go. At this point, dude, I'm just shy of 80 hours into the game, and I walked across a planet last night from what felt like one side to the other because it took hours and hours. And as I found this dude stuck in a cave, I brought him, I had to rescue him. He says, "Can you take me back to my ship?" I said, "Yes." And I brought him back to his ship, and then I shot him because I wanted his ship. But the ship was locked and I needed the key, and I can't find the key. And it wasn't, I thought maybe it was on the body. Dude, turns out it wasn't. So that's the way that went down.
It sounds like you played a character that I would make there.
Dude, it's a blast. Yo, what's on today's show? We got a few things to talk about.
We have something you're going to love. We have Mortal Kombat 1's roster has leaked. No new Tears of the Kingdom DLC. We'll get into that. Alone in the Dark has been pushed back to 2024 for a good reason, however. Payday 3 open technical test begins this weekend, and Stray has a film adaptation, and I'm excited.
Nice, let's dive in. Scott, Mortal Kombat is just around the corner, and it's not able to hide from any of the leaks. That's right, the whole 24 roster of characters have been leaked. That's right, our champions are now, well, visible. You ready for this? This is Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming. The full roster of Mortal Kombat 1 has been leaked online ahead of its September 19th release date. Originally posted by, over on Reddit, Mortal Kombat. Since removed, though, the roster has been re-uploaded across the likes of Reddit and Twitter. Here's the roster. So if you don't want to get spoiled, you probably want to dip from this episode. Scott, let's get into it. This is typical, though. There's certain characters you expect to see, some we've already seen, and I don't actually at this point, dude, I think we've seen them all. So there really isn't any spoilers. So let's get into it. There might be one or two, but I really don't think so, dude. I think we've seen everybody here. Liu Kang, no surprise. Raiden, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, Katana. That is right there the main roster. Every Mortal Kombat. Milena's there. Narada is a new one that we haven't seen in the past. Like, that's been a while since we've seen that character. Kenshi, Smoke, Rain, Li Mei, which is cool to see. Tanya, Baraka, Garrus. Dude, I love Garrus. His abilities are cool. You watch a pro level players play with Garrus, you're at a whole other level. I am horrible with Garrus. Let's get in. Reptile's back. Reptile looks cool. Dude, he looks like one of the sickest characters that I have to try Reptile when I get him. Ashura, Havoc, Sindel, General Shao, and Rico. Rico, all the way back from Mortal Kombat 4. Scott, the biggest thing, there's our 24 characters. You and I were talking about this offline, and you're like, yo, where's so-and-so? Where's so-and-so? Where is Kano? Kano is a cameo character, right? Cyrax, cameo character. Ermac, cameo character. Dude, some of the ones we've loved in the past still aren't making the roster.
Not even Jax.
Dude, cameo character. What an approach to take in switching up the formula that we've been so used to with Mortal Kombat. And here we go. Instead, we're going cameo characters. So you still get them in some form. But, dude, I'll never forget. Nate and I reviewed Mortal Kombat 11, and he was so upset. Ermac's not around. Cyrax's not around. Sector's not there. Like, some of our beloved characters. At what point? I get that they're starting over here, which is so weird to me to see Mortal Kombat 1 starting from the ground up again, right? Everyone's got much more of a human-esque approach in their character design and a much more grounded feel, I think, coming into the reboot of Mortal Kombat. and we're getting away from some of the over fantasy. Well, it's funny. Then you get in and take a look at some of these
Reptile.
characters. Yeah, right. We do have Reptile here who can transform on the fly, which looks amazing to see him do that within their animation and how they were able to craft that. Dude, it looks sick. It's one of the coolest looking things I've seen in a long time when it comes into a fighting game. I'm not a Street Fighter guy. I'm not a Tekken guy anymore. I used to be a Tekken fighter. I was a big fan of Tekken back in the day. Street Fighter grew away from me. I played it on the Super NES with a bunch of buddies. And then from there, I never really went for the flash and whatever they've got. Instead, I went with Mortal Kombat and went for the gore instead.
That's what I did as well, yeah. And then I moved on to Soul Calibur, but that was its own thing. Soul Calibur comes and goes occasionally throughout the years. Mortal Kombat is eternal.
Well, yeah, I don't think, man, at this point, we're 30 years in, right? Like, were we ever going to lose Mortal Kombat? Are we ever going to get the ultimate Mortal Kombat like we got with Smash Brothers?
Yeah, there's no Tremor, there's no Rain discussed in this. I'm not
Rain's
sure
there.
if they're...
Rain's there.
Oh, he is there.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah.
Smoke is there. That's a big one. So there's a lot to see. But yeah, I'm not so sure on who exactly is one of the cameo lineup. I don't know. I haven't seen that listed yet to know who's missing entirely.
I'm sure it's coming. The same user who originally posted the images also claimed that the Nintendo Switch version of the game isn't spectacular quality by any means. No kidding. Did
Real shot in
anybody
the dark there?
Was anybody expecting that to be looking good, running smooth? Not at all. The fact that it's on the Switch is shocking to me, Scott.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think it's going to look a little bit dated if it's going to make it to market at all. It's going to look like cell phone resolution, but
yeah. So what are your thoughts on some of the missing characters instead of being just gone to cameos instead? Like, would you expect Jax to be here?
Especially Jax. Yeah, that's a strange one that's missing. Now it's not the uproar that would be caused by Liu Kang, Kung Lao, or any of the other Scorpion, Sub-Zero. That would be offensively a bad decision. But I'm wondering if we're going to see that roster kind of change, kind of slide over the course of DLCs. But I'm not certain that anything has been announced.
No,
concrete wise.
No, I wonder at this point, will those cameos become playable characters? They're just not ready to go yet at this particular time. Or is that the vision that they've taken and go, no, the cameos are the cameos, and you will not be able to fight with them, which is interesting. Dude, like it's almost like I played Tekken Tag back in the day, and it feels like a Tekken Tag. This will allow you to then continue the juggle within your in Mortal Kombat and continue on your combo, right? Like, that's the biggest thing, is how do you interrupt and, shake things up a little bit within the fighting genre. And this is one way that Mortal Kombat and NetherRealms are able to do that. Introduce a cameo, all of a sudden you're mid-string in your combo, you just tap the button, bring in one of your cameos, and then that pops them up. Now you're into a different juggle maneuver, and away you go. I'm interested to see how the juggle and how the cameos drop in, drop out. Am I going to be able to know their move already, or is it going to be a standard move every time? There's a lot to kind of unpack once we actually dive into the game. And what does the story look like too? I think that's the coolest thing. Like, Mortal Kombat has been able to, granted it is over the top, right? But it's still one of those cool stories. Man, whoever thought Mortal Kombat, besides having remember the instruction books back in the day? Besides reading through the lore in the instruction book, like, that was it. Now we're actually getting a full-fledged story in the world of Mortal Kombat. Dude, I couldn't be more excited.
I'm really hoping that there's movies inspired by this new Mortal Kombat, because I'm still a fan of the one that came out in the 90s.
Maybe we'll get one.
The two that came out in the 90s.
Well, we got the recent one, which actually wasn't bad, and apparently there's a sequel in the works, so who knows? Mortal Kombat, dude, those just around the corner. Scott, one of the biggest games this year was Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and, well, the producer says there's no DLC on the way. Jordan Midler over at VGC. Speaking to Famitsu, Scott, how would you go with this one?
I think that is
Onuma said there are no plans to release additional content for the game this time because he feels that the team did everything it could in terms of gameplay opportunities. Quote, "At this time, we are not planning to release additional content," he said. Quote, "We feel Like, we have already explored and exhausted the gameplay possibilities in this world. Initially, the reason we decided to develop a sequel was because we believed there was still value in experiencing new gameplay within the particular Hyrule. If in the future we find a compelling reason, we may revisit that world once again. Whether it's another sequel or an entirely new title, I believe the next game will offer a completely new experience. I hope you'll look forward to it. Interesting, Scott. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I certainly am looking forward to it. But when it comes to compelling reason, I didn't expect there to be a story arc added or anything like that. I was thinking possibly something added to the map, or maybe just different devices that you can use to create different objects and kind of flesh that out a little bit more. But people have already gotten so creative with the devices that are already in the game. It does make sense. It stands on its own. It doesn't require DLC. And it is a strange concept to me that Zelda had DLC ever. But that's because it's a Nintendo game, and back in my day. But
yeah, Breath of the Wild did get 2 pieces of DLC, right? They had the Master Trials, which added new gameplay modes, and then the Champion's Ballad, which added a new story content and a motorbike. So
yeah,
I think
the motorbike was so strange at the time, but now we're rolling around on everything now.
Well, yeah, dude, that was just the evolution of it, where it was heading next, right? It's interesting to think of. I think fans were hoping, coming off of Breath of the Wild, getting 2 pieces of DLC, you'd almost expect to get Tears of the Kingdom DLC at the same time. But as he said, dude, there's so much content and creativity already invested in Tears of the Kingdom that they're like, nah, we're done. Now we're moving on. Scott, do we move on to another one? Or do you think we'll see something maybe in the future connected to Tears of the Kingdom?
I think it'll be connected to, but I'm not sure if... Well, I don't believe any Zelda game has ever gotten more than 1 sequel, and that was rare at the time as well. So I don't think it'll continue on the story, but I'm wondering, what are they going to do to change up the next one? How do you follow up Tears of the Kingdom with that incredible creativity?
So Tears of the Kingdom, we'll call it... Well, yeah, whatever the next Zelda game is, obviously will be on the next Switch. But at the same time, you got to think... What are we, 7 years away from even kind of getting a slice of what that looks like?
I would imagine it's so far away now. Yeah, I'm not certain the normal turnaround they can do with a Zelda game, but I'm not sure that Nintendo feels any urgency at all.
No urgency, right? I don't even think they feel the pressure at this point. They have Tears of the Kingdom out, it is selling like hotcakes, and just let it go and just sit back and see where Nintendo goes next. We do have Super Mario Wonder up. So that's coming around the corner here not too long ago. And everybody be invested back into Mario. And then probably still jumping back into Tears of the Kingdom. Dude, I did not finish Tears of the Kingdom. And at this point, I probably won't. Which is too bad. I really wanted to. But man, this year has been an incredible year of games. And there's so many things to play. My backlog of things to finish, get to, and it keeps growing. It is, man, I'm telling you, I keep talking about it, but yo, the Game of the Year discussion is going to be a hot one this year. Tears of the Kingdom, definitely going to be in that.
Drew, THQ Nordic has been the latest in developers to push a delay, but this is Alone in the Dark has slipped into January of 2024. Not incredibly far away, but I think you'll like the reasoning behind this. Jeffrey Rousseau at Game Industry gives us more. THQ Nordic has announced that its remake of 1992's Alone in the Dark will launch on January 16th, 2024 now. The game's firm attributed the decision to move the title away from the release slate of October, and I think this is where the wisdom comes in. Quote, "Our intention is to avoid competing with the wake of Alan's epic release." I see what you did there. And to evade the dazzling skyline of cities, all right, adorned by the graceful swings of Spider-Man, said the publisher. A very interesting way of saying that October is just way too full. Quote, "This extension will serve to a dual purpose. Not only will it permit us to meticulously perfect the gaming experience, but it will also grant us the opportunity to fully immerse ourselves in the remarkable releases of October. And I like that too. A little bit of awareness where we don't want to draw all of the attention away from these other large games. We know you're going to be on there. Alone in the Dark previously had a release date of October 25th. So it's not an incredibly long delay, but just enough to kind of get it into its own space with air, hopefully.
I think that's the biggest thing, Scott, that it actually opens up the window for Alone in the Dark to stand out a little bit more before getting overshadowed by Spider-Man, by Alan Wake 2, right? Alan Wake 2, we've seen so much content. People, it's like, that's one of their most anticipated titles this year. And Spider-Man 2 and Assassin's Creed Mirage right at the beginning. Our October, dude, is looking full. And City Skylines 2 is in there. Dude, it's like sequel city within October. And everybody is just going to be already busy playing other things. So here they are. THQ is like, yo, you know what? We need to step away from October. And I think that is a brilliant move. And to be upfront about it too, to say, hey, we're just going to move ourselves. So that way, maybe Alone in the Dark actually stands a chance of seeing a lot more sales, a lot more fandom coming over. And if January is a little quiet, as of right now, the only thing I can think of coming in January is that new Prince of Persia side-scroller game, which I'm super excited for. Dude, I cannot wait for that game. But Alone in the Dark, I think would just get smothered amongst the other titles coming in October. I think this is a great move for the game.
Yeah, it's interesting that the original Alone in the Dark release date was October 25th, and then we saw Alan Wake get pushed back into too close. It must have been that change that elicited this response. But I think it's a good decision either way. I have time for two of them, but I would like a little bit of a space in between.
No, absolutely. Alan Wake got pushed back. Assassin's Creed Mirage got pushed ahead. It's like something we don't often hear about is getting a game pushed ahead of schedule. That like never happens. So Mirage is obviously pretty set and ready to go, which it was a week earlier now, which has me excited. But I think even they wanted to move out of the way of Spider-Man 2, right? Ubisoft wants the sales for Assassin's Creed. If you're an Assassin's Creed fan, especially an old school fan like us, then you're looking forward to going back to the roots. Dude, it couldn't be more excited for an Assassin's Creed title. I was pretty pumped when Valhalla dropped. And I'm like, great, we're going to build settlements. And from what we heard throughout the trailer is pick up our settlement and move it. Dude, I never moved my settlement once. I just kept expanding on it, which was cool. But then blowing the blowhorn took us way out of the whole stealth aspect of it all. But now going back into Mirage, we're getting back into that stealth feel again, right? We're going back to the roots. So for them to move ahead, get out of the way of Spider-Man 2, which has all the hype, right? Coming over with Venom, Kraven, Miles Morales working with Peter Parker, the Lizard's there. Like, there's so much of an impact coming into Spider-Man 2 that's going to hit huge as well. And then Alan Wake 2, like, dude, two. Then we saw City Skylines 2, which looks incredible. If you're a city builder fan or just a fan of that genre, like, this is going to be a cool one. Coming to console, coming to PC. Like, dude, it's going to be a hot month in October. And again, it just September, October, going to be some of the best months we've had in a very long time. Scott, you and I love co-op games, and this is one that's been on our radar for a while. Payday 3 will have an open technical beta to test servers ahead of its release, which kicks off this weekend for the beta. Stephanie Jackson over at VG247. Players can play around in the co-op heist shooter on September 8th to the 11th as part of the stress test for the servers. This will help the developers prepare the game for its upcoming release on September 21st. The technical open beta will require a key to access and feature the same content as the technical closed beta test conducted in August. It is based on the game version from April and not a final representation of Payday 3. When Payday 3 actually drops, dude, it's pretty well everywhere. PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and you can get it on Game Pass as well. Also on GeForce Now. So there is that. So you can access the beta test through Steam and by signing up with the Xbox Insider, and that's how you can get in. Play this weekend. Dude, I'm hoping to get in myself. I've been excited to get into this one. Payday 2 is one of the games that I saw the hype. Everybody went on it, but I didn't have a crew to go with, and because this is a co-op game, we got some buddies and we need to play it that way, and that's what we're going to do here, and I can't wait to get into Payday 3. I want to steal some stuff.
I think we're going to have a lot of fun there, and we do a team, we do a Rainbow Six team, we do a GTA team. I think we're going to have a fun time in this one. Let's hope.
Dude, I'm really curious about the stealth. Are we gonna be able to pull it off in stealth, or is it just kind of, we'll start off stealth, but sometimes it just never ends that way?
No, a bit of Ivor moment there.
Exactly, below the horn.
Drew, a topic that's much more my favorite than yours would be cats, and that includes Stray. The popular cat game Stray is getting an animated adaptation for film. This is really interesting for me. I don't have a PlayStation yet. This will be my first encounter, although it is on Xbox, but I'm ahead of myself here. Annapurna Animation is preparing to adapt Blue 12 Studios' award-winning game Stray into an animated film. Stray puts you in control of the ginger cat who falls into an underground city populated by bacteria, machines, and a robot. Typical ginger cat stuff. Driving to return home with the help of a drone companion. The duo must try their best to avoid the Zerks and Sentinels attempting to eliminate them. Annapurna Animation is led by Robert Baird and Andrew Milstein, both former Disney animation executives. And speaking with Entertainment Weekly, Baird compared the game to a buddy comedy with a hilarious dynamic between the cat and robot. Quote, "So there's comedy inherent in this, but there's not one human being in this movie, as with the game," said Baird. I think it's one of the reasons why the game was incredibly popular, because you are seeing the world through the point of view of an adorable cat. Baird said there was something so emotional the creators are trying to capture when adapting the game to film, and hope the team will do this adaptation justice. Milstein added that Stray was a popular game with the animation company, and they chose to adapt it first, due in part to it being wildly popular with players. Like I say, this is on Xbox, I believe maybe one whole month now, actually. And I have not yet gotten to play it.
Dude, I'm shocked. Honestly, I'm really shocked you haven't picked this up and played it yet, because it was so, I don't want to say groundbreaking, but beloved by fans over on PlayStation. And like, if you're a cat lover, like, this is meant for you. This is an homage to those who are so invested in their cats. Obviously, I'm much more of a dog guy, but either way, apples to oranges. It's one of those things that, you know, if you're into cats, this was a cool game. I played it. I got into it. I didn't finish it. It was one of those, like, this isn't for me. I'm gonna bounce out. But what they created, I thought the world was awesome. I think the cat maneuvers and animation behind it was really well done. So I'm excited to see actually where they take the film, this animated film. Dude, I bet you this does just as well as the game did.
I'm really hoping so.
Scott, we have some, I don't know, small games out today.
That's right. We have Baldur's Gate 3 on the PlayStation 5, starting off small, I see.
Wow.
Molly Medusa on PC. That's an interesting title. Enchanted Portals, also on PC. And another little small title, you might not have heard of this one. Starfield releases today on PC and the Xbox Series console. It was curiously released a day early, it seems. People were on that yesterday.
Absolutely. At this point, dude, I am almost at the 80-hour mark, and still no point of slowing down.
You have to rub that in.
Well, that'll wrap up ITG Daily, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is where we bring you the hottest in gaming news each and every day. We'll be back again tomorrow. I'm Drew. That's Scott.
And we'll see you inside the game.